Okay. Several questions I have from my classroom and from my Facebook page. The first very common question is that what kind of subject psychology is. So as a teacher of psychology, I can tell there is a behavioral science and a lot of interesting things are there. But you was not having a, I think you was having psychology in class 12.
No, sir, I did my BA in psychology, sociology, and literature.
Okay. That was it. So, anyway, but after that, when you opted psychology, then you was having interest in psychology?
Yes, I was.
Then developed interest in psychology?
Not that well developed, I would say. So after my BA, I did my MA in sociology. So so the natural thing I should have done is to take sociology as the option. So the only two options that I had was either take psychology or take sociology. So
you did your master's in sociology.
Yes.
And obviously you was confused also a little bit that what should I take in medicine.
Yes.
So what was the final point on which you decided psychology?
So I think there were majorly two factors. The one was that from the experience that I have, from whatever I have written, previous exams that I have written, there was not much marks difference in sociology and psychology, and in fact I used to get lesser in sociology than in psychology, and I couldn't actually understand where things were going wrong in sociology because there was nobody to tell me that I could trust. And
it means my teacher was
exactly, sir.
One who could tell exactly that what is the cause of the problem.
Yes, exactly.
Underperformance.
Exactly.
This was the one factor.
Yes, exactly.
Another one?
So actually, it's like both of them are sort of related. One was this marks thing, and second thing was that I couldn't understand why sociology and marks were going down. And because you were there to tell me about psychology, so I think.
I remember that day you came and then you said that what should I take? I told you that if you take sociology, it will be a logical choice for you. But you need to search a teacher because it is a competitive exam.
Exactly.
And you cannot make it off your own. Because you need to give competitive performance, not just certain level of performance. Did it?
Yes.
That was very clear. So once you opted psychology, then how you managed everything? Because you have given several times. So first let me know not for the subject. How did you manage the motivation for such a long time? Now how many attempts you actually given for this?
So I'm doing five attempts.
5 attempts. So in first attempt you cleared prelims or?
Yes, I cleared prelims, I cleared mains.
You cleared mains also?
No, I didn't clear mains.
In second attempt?
Second attempt I cleared mains. Second attempt, actually I cleared interview also.
Interview also?
I came in the reserve list.
That is the
yes.
I remember. And then finally in third
attempt I was on the main list.
And you got IRTS.
And fourth attempt I didn't clear prelims.
Prelims, right. This was the journey. Yes. In fourth attempt you didn't clear prelims. And that was very shocking for you.
Yes.
Yes. And then finally, luckily you got a chance and you gave and finally. So it was your actually fifth attempt, despite being a general candidate. In fifth attempt you cleared and you got 111, right?
Yes.
And you got IPS.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. This is the success. But let me know one thing, that when you was preparing in the beginning, then what was your motivation in the first attempt, second attempt? Because the process was very long, how did you manage your motivation?
Sir, actually, maybe the way I came into this process is different from the way other people come. So for me, there were most of it was because of family pressure that I started writing the exam. And I sort of always saw it as some kind of a bargaining chip kind of thing. If I do this for them, then maybe I can do something else for myself. So the first time I started writing it, this was the primary motivation. I was not particularly motivated. I mean, I didn't have anything against it. Of course, I would have, if I got the job, I would be happy with it. But then it was not completely motivated from my side. A lot of it was from my parents' side. So the first time I wrote the exam, I didn't have much time, sir. Actually, I just finished my MA, and on May 1st I came to Delhi, and on May 20th was the prelims. So I prepared for the prelims in around 20 days. So I was very sure I won't clear it. So actually, yes, sir. Then I cleared it because, sir, I mean, you don't expect that. But then that time I cleared it. Then I was undergoing coaching at Bajira, and that used to take up a lot of time. So there was very little time for self-study. So basically, what has happened is that every time that I wrote the exam, I knew what mistake that I had done. Or what all the mistakes that I had done. So the next time that you would write it, you know what things that you have done wrong, so you don't feel that dejected. I mean, you know it's your fault. It's not that
you were having something was there. This was the problem. That is why you had the problem.
Yes, exactly. So most of the time, when you lose motivation, when you feel that you have done everything that you can, and still you are not made it. So that means that there is something wrong with you, right? But in my case, that was not the way I saw it.
Okay.
I could always see the mistakes that I made. So that way I could.
That kept you motivated.
Exactly. At least that didn't make me dejected. And also, it is only after during the third attempt that I actually became serious about the process. And at that time I was working. So there was not enough time and all that. So, and it was when I wrote the fourth attempt that I was very sure that this is what I wanted. So that was the time that motivation came from inside me. Irrespective of, I didn't care what my parents would want and things like that. So, but that time I didn't clear prelims. So that time I was really motivated. Yes, that was really I felt I was very unhappy at that time. And then luckily I got 2 more attempts. And this time when I wrote the 5th attempt, the only thing I wanted to do was I wanted to give this process a fair chance. I wanted to not make the mistakes that I had made earlier. I wanted to give it whatever I could. And just that much. What I would get out of it didn't matter that much. And I was very sure that I wouldn't be writing the exam again. Even though there was 1 more attempt left after the 5th attempt, I was very sure that whatever the result might be in the 5th attempt, I won't be writing it again. So this time, in fact, even before the results came, I didn't apply for prelims at all. Because I was very sure I won't be writing it again, whatever the results might be.
One reason that you are already in service.
Yes, probably. So that might be at the back of my head. So because
and it was a lengthy process also.
Yes, exactly.
Writing about 5 attempts,
exactly.
4 attempts is not easy.
Exactly.
And in this way you maintained your motivation.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I think you was really lucky.
Yes, to get over attempts. Yes. So but the thing was that by the time the attempts came, I had, like human beings, you adjust to whatever condition you are put in, right?
Okay.
So, sir, after a point, especially after I had done my FC, immediately after the 2013 result.
FC means foundation
course. I had become sort of adjusted to IRTS.
Okay.
And then the extra attempts came. So, initially when the attempts came, I did think twice before deciding whether I should write it again or not. Then once I decided that I'm going to write it, I just decided that this time I'm going to give whatever I can, and whatever the result might be, I'll just do it properly and see whatever I get out of it.
Good. And now, you just tell me briefly, how you manage the psychology in your 5th attempt?
So actually, since I had been doing it for a while, even during my previous attempts, I had started making notes for every chapter. But because of my laziness and lack of motivation and all that, I would never complete the syllabus. And there were a lot of lack of.
Actually, I was working also in other.
Yes,
that was also a constraint.
Yes, sir.
Being in Kerala and taking coaching from beautiful mind Delhi and just sending, receiving answers.
Yes,
that was a lengthy exercise.
Yes, sir.
But when you actually came here, then that was that time it was clear that you are very decided that you are going to give 100% this time. So you managed this way, that you made small notes of
yes, sir. I made notes for all the chapters that I.
14 chapters for paper 1.
Yes, paper 1. And I used multiple sources. I used Barron, I used Israeli, I used NCRT.
As per the syllabus.
As per the syllabus. And I think another thing was definitely answering the questions in your class. Because I think that helped a lot. Because whatever you might know, if you're not able to write a proper answer, then it does not count.
Giving a customized answer is a skill.
Exactly.
And that requires debate and discussion over that.
Exactly.
So discussion pays a lot. I think you got benefited on that line in the class, in my class. Okay. And I think same thing for paper 2.
Yes, the same thing for paper 2. Even though for paper 2, getting material is difficult.
When he was discussing and participating in the discussion in the classroom, he was, you are giving your reflexes, you are telling your points and all. So I think, what do you think? That made something?
Yes, sir. That is what made more difference in paper 2. The discussions in the class and the questions that I answered.
That brought clarity.
Yes. Yes, sir. Because the material in paper 2 is very little. So
what application material will be?
Yes.
Actually, many people come here, they do not have material. Application, from where material will come? You need to apply the theory and principles to new situation also.
Yes.
So you can ask for some studies or some example, that is another thing. All well designed material from where it will come? Suppose a new problems comes in CBI and you say how psychology could be applied. So from where material will come? So this is applied paper, so obviously that is it. But that was the main thing. Overall, you have prepared very successfully. And if someone asks you that can you say that you gave your 100% in 5th attempt?
No, sir, because what happens is that the more number of attempts that you give, it comes with a lot of baggage. I mean, there's a lot of emotional baggage, there's a lot of fatigue. Even though you want to give your 100%, you get tired because you've already done it before. So, if I had this amount of motivation maybe in my 2nd attempt, then I think I would have given at least maybe my 80%. 100% giving is maybe humanly impossible. But I think in the 5th attempt I must have given around 60 to 70%.
It is difficult to quantify.
Yes.
But anyway, your assessment is like that up to that level, up to as per your capability.
Yes.
What message you want to give if somebody is new and trying to prepare for IPS exams, for the IPS exams? So you have a lot of experience now you are successful. So what suggestion or message you want to give?
Sir, actually towards the motivation things, I want to add one or two more things. So I think one of the things that kept me motivated was that there was nobody telling me that I couldn't do it. My parents were supportive, and of course you were there, sir. Every time, you are not just a teacher for psychology, I could come with you with other problems also. So that also helped my motivation. So your question was what I would suggest.
A new person who is motivated to prepare for IPS exam, you have good bad experience for that thing. So what kind of things message you will give?
So the first thing is to make up your mind whether you want to give this exam or not. Don't do it in a double-minded situation. You have to be sure that you are going to give this exam. And the next thing you have to do is that if you are going to give this exam, you have to give all your time and energy for this exam. At least 1 year prior to actually when you decide if you are planning to write in 2017, then start preparing from 2016 itself. Because if you start preparing just when you are about to write the exam, then there's not enough time between prelims and mains to cover everything. And thirdly, make a plan on how you are going to go about it. Choose your option properly and find out. Most of the time, you will need some coaching to get the marks that you want in UPSC. So find out what kind of coaching you need, and so figure all that out and make a plan on how you are going to go about it.
Some people ask very categorical question that for optional one can understand that without coaching it is not possible to prepare in a very speedy manner because optional require theory, system, many things. And there are students who argue that GS could be prepared without coaching. So what do you think?
Sir, I am not sure about it, sir, because I did.
Well, you just answer this question that in your preparation, coaching of GS general study helped or not?
Yes, sir, it did help. But I took coaching in 2010.
10.
Yes, sir. So I didn't go for coaching.
So when you have taken coaching in 2010 and your success is now in 2014, then in 5 years you have done a lot of self-study.
Yes, exactly, sir. So, but the thing was that there were some things which had been taken care of by the coaching. Like for example, economics. I had no background in economics at all. So when I took coaching in economics, it cleared up the basics for me. And the teacher who was there, he was quite good. I think he would relate it to whatever is happening in the current scenario. So that way I could relate it to the current. So because
you want to learn many concepts, you can learn against PD matters.
Exactly.
If some good teachers are
exactly.
You want to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is like economics, like I think some technical science and
exactly.
You want to say?
Science, yes.
Okay, but definitely it takes time.
Yes, sir, it takes time.
It is not to say that in about 4 5 or 3 months one gets written.
No, sir.
Like that.
Yes.
It takes time.
Yes, sir.
One should have this basic.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.